This man in Washington captured something he couldn't explain. The homestead owner who lives in Washington posted the photograph to social media, detailing that shortly after the image was taken, his trail camera was destroyed. He said the following: "My trail camera took this photo on my property in Washington. I have an 84-acre property that's set within dense woodland. The image was taken in the summer, and as of right now I have no idea what this could be. My trail camera will take an image as soon as it detects motion. On some of the photographs nothing could be seen, but that's because it was detecting movements close by. When I headed out to the spot where the trail camera was set up, I found it in pieces, so whatever this creature was, knew that it was there. I've worked with animals my whole life, and I know that in Washington, it's illegal to own animals such as monkeys. This is what my brain went to when I was viewing the image. Something that made me feel uncomfortable about this was the fact that a few nights before the camera was destroyed, I heard strange noises, but I just attributed it to being a coyote. This is the first time that something like this has happened, and at the moment, I'm just trying to work out what this thing is. I'm currently talking to some people who want to conduct some investigations. I'm already in the process of buying some more trail cameras, and I hope that in the near future I'll be able to identify what this creature is." End quote. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, has intrigued and captivated the public's imagination for centuries. This elusive humanoid creature, allegedly sighted in the vast wilderness of North America, carries a certain enigma, partly because of the uncertainty surrounding its existence. Could a creature like this actually exist? The primary evidence of Bigfoot's existence is the numerous eyewitness accounts and anecdotal reports. These accounts describe a large bipedal creature covered in hair, exhibiting human-like characteristics. Sightings have occurred across a broad geographic range, implying that if Bigfoot does exist, it is a species with a sizable population distributed over a vast area. The multitude of footprints discovered and attributed to this creature forms a substantial part of the evidence. These footprints are often larger than an average human's and exhibit features suggesting a primate origin. Anatomically, primates possess certain distinctive foot structures, which some argue are apparent in Bigfoot prints. Scientifically, there's a theoretical possibility that Bigfoot could be a relic population of ancient primates. From an ecological perspective, the dense, remote forests of North America could theoretically support a large primate species. These environments offer plenty of vegetation and small animals for sustenance, and the wide-ranging remote wilderness could provide the necessary cover to elude human contact. Yet, despite these possibilities, there are significant challenges to the idea of this creature's existence. Primarily, there's a lack of physical evidence beyond footprints. No body or skeletal remains have been found, and supposed hair or tissue samples have failed to provide conclusive DNA evidence. Additionally, the survival of a large, unidentified primate over centuries would require a substantial breeding population, which would likely result in more frequent and verifiable encounters with humans. Furthermore, primates are inherently social creatures, so the notion of an elusive, solitary creature like Bigfoot contradicts our understanding of primate behavior. Without sightings of groups or families, the existence of Bigfoot becomes ecologically and behaviorally less plausible. Despite the skepticism, the absence of definitive evidence does not entirely rule out the creature's existence. New species are discovered regularly, including large mammals in remote parts of the world. Therefore, the possibility, however remote, remains that a large primate like Bigfoot could have escaped scientific classification. A question that often arises in discussions surrounding Bigfoot is the involvement of the United States government. Has the US government investigated Bigfoot sightings? To delve into this topic, it is important to consider the purpose and focus of government investigations. Typically, the US government conducts investigations into matters that concern national security, public safety, or environmental protection. At first glance, Bigfoot, a creature more associated with folklore than security threats, seems an unlikely subject of official interest. However, it would be erroneous to presume that the US government has had no interaction with the Bigfoot phenomenon. Documents obtained through the Freedom of Information Act reveal that Bigfoot was in fact a subject of concern for the US government at one point. In the 1970s, the FBI analyzed hair samples related to a Bigfoot sighting at the request of the Bigfoot Information Center and Exhibition. The analysis, however, concluded that the hair was of deer family origin, delivering a blow to the Bigfoot believers who had hoped for a different outcome. Moreover, it is worth noting that U.S. national parks and wilderness areas, where many Bigfoot sightings are reported, are under federal jurisdiction. Occasionally, park rangers have been drawn into the Bigfoot narrative, whether responding to reports, reassuring the public, or investigating unusual incidents. This is not to suggest that there is an official stance or dedicated effort to uncover the Bigfoot mystery, but rather, it demonstrates that at a practical level, federal employees have engaged with the topic. Nonetheless, no substantial evidence suggests that the US government has engaged in a dedicated, systematic investigation into Bigfoot, akin to its endeavors in other areas, such as unidentified objects. The lack of scientific evidence supporting Bigfoot's existence and the absence of any direct threat to national security or public safety likely preclude any large-scale official investigation. Additionally, the scientific community's prevailing skepticism toward Bigfoot's existence has also likely influenced the government's stance. Government investigations typically rely on scientific advice, and the consensus among scientists, given the current lack of compelling physical evidence, leans heavily toward Bigfoot's non-existence. There's a unique allure to the tales of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or Yeti, depending on the region. Rooted deep within folklore, legends, and myth, stories of these elusive creatures have fascinated generations. This story recounts the experience of an unnamed hiker who claimed to have had an encounter with Bigfoot during an excursion into the Pacific Northwest, a hotbed of such reports. The hiker, an experienced outdoorsman, embarked on a solitary trip into the thick forests of Oregon, an area known for its lush, unspoiled wilderness and, intriguingly, its myriad of Bigfoot sightings. The trip was planned to last several days, a chance for our hiker to immerse himself in nature, miles away from civilization. On the second night, as dusk crept over the landscape, the hiker heard an unsettling noise. It wasn't the typical sounds of the forest, the chirping of crickets, the whispering breeze, or the distant hoot of an owl. It was something far more disconcerting. An eerie, guttural growl echoing through the dense forest. The hiker, though initially unnerved, chalked it up to the enigmatic nocturnal wildlife. The following day brought an unsettling discovery. While exploring a densely wooded area, the hiker came across a series of enormous footprints, each one approximately 15 inches long and noticeably wider than a human's. The depth of the imprints suggested a creature of considerable weight. Struck by a sense of fascination and mild fear, the hiker couldn't help but think of the region's famous legend. That evening, as darkness cloaked the forest, the hiker experienced the pinnacle of his unusual encounters. Sitting by his campfire, he noticed movement in his peripheral vision, followed by the distinct rustling of undergrowth. Turning slowly, the hiker's breath hitched as he spotted a large, shadowy figure on the edge of the firelight. It stood upright on two legs, covered in thick, matted fur, its eyes reflecting the light from the campfire. The creature and the hiker locked gazes. An eternal moment passed, filled with a mutual, palpable curiosity, before the creature turned and disappeared into the darkness. The forest fell silent, the eerie stillness amplifying the hiker's pounding heart and the hum of his thoughts. Despite the fear, the hiker chose to stay, driven by a strange blend of curiosity and awe. He encountered no further incidents and left the forest with his extraordinary tale etched into his memory. Skeptics might dismiss the encounter as misidentification or even an elaborate hoax. However, for the hiker and those who choose to believe, it was an extraordinary personal experience. The hiker's tale underscores the allure of the unknown that drives our fascination with creatures like Bigfoot. It showcases the extraordinary experiences that can occur when we step into the wilderness, where civilization's reach fades and nature holds sway. Despite the skepticism surrounding such stories, they undeniably enrich our culture, provoking wonderment and igniting our innate curiosity about the unexplored and the mysterious. The Yeti holds an indomitable place in the folklore and cultural beliefs of the locals in Tibet. To the Western world, the Yeti may be a product of fiction, but to the Tibetans, it is much more. Tibet, with its soaring Himalayan peaks, isolated valleys, and harsh climatic conditions, provides the perfect backdrop for the Yeti's existence. Stories and legends of this creature have been passed down generations, intricately woven into the fabric of Tibetan culture. To locals, the Yeti is not merely a mythical creature. It embodies the power and unpredictability of nature, representing an interconnection between humans and the wilderness. Tibetans often refer to the Yeti as Miche, which translates to man-bear, and Kangmi, meaning snowman. Their descriptions vary, but most agree on certain characteristics: an ape-like creature, walking erect, covered in thick fur, and possessing immense strength. For many locals, the Yeti is a spiritual entity, a protector of high-altitude wilderness areas, and a symbol of the rugged survivalism needed to thrive in the Himalayas. Yeti sightings are not uncommon in the region. Many locals claim to have seen large footprints in the snow or encountered the creature itself. However, rather than a source of terror, these sightings are usually interpreted as warnings or omens. For instance, if a Yeti is seen during an expedition, it may be considered a sign to turn back, respecting the wilderness and its guardians. Yeti legends also serve as cautionary tales, teaching respect for the mountains and their ecosystems. The tales underscore the importance of coexistence with nature, rather than dominance over it. For the locals, infringing on the Yeti's territory, or failing to respect nature's boundaries, can bring misfortune or disaster. Tibetan monasteries also play a crucial role in preserving the Yeti's lore. Some, like the Pangboche monastery, were said to possess physical relics, such as a skullcap and hand, believed to belong to a Yeti, further reinforcing belief in the creature's existence. In recent years, the Yeti's cultural significance has become a source of regional pride and identity. The creature is featured in local art and literature, serving as a symbol of Tibetan culture and heritage. Moreover, the Yeti has become a beacon for tourism, drawing intrigued explorers and enthusiasts to the region, contributing to local economies. To some, the Yeti may be a mere myth, a creature of legend and intrigue. However, to the Tibetan locals, the Yeti represents an inherent part of their culture and identity, a living embodiment of their respect for and relationship with the formidable Himalayan landscape. It stands as a testament to the power of folklore, belief, and tradition. The enduring mystery of the creature fueling both cultural pride and a powerful respect for the unknown. In the end, whether the Yeti truly roams the snow-laden peaks of the Himalayas remains a question unanswered. Regardless, the firm belief of the Tibetan people in this elusive creature shows the world that sometimes the most profound truths reside not in physical evidence, but in the enduring narratives of culture and the human spirit's capacity for wonder and reverence. As of right now, hundreds of hikers are still coming forward with their encounters, saying that they witnessed a large humanoid. These creatures allegedly live within the dense regions of the United States, and although scientists and researchers have said that they don't exist, witnesses continue to come forward with their sightings, helping to fuel the belief in this mysterious creature. However, skeptics have said that until concrete evidence can be presented, this elusive creature cannot be verified as genuine. Going back a few years ago, a national park ranger submitted an interesting photograph. The sender started off by saying that they work in California and that they often find themselves outdoors, and this is because of their job. On one particular occasion, they were with their friend out in the wilderness when they came across something they couldn't explain. The person details how their friend called them over because he had found something bizarre. At first, the pair couldn't believe what they were looking at, and the only way they could describe it was that it appeared to be the arm of a large humanoid. After the friend kicked it, they could see the arm was almost double the size of that of an average man's. The ranger detailed that it had brown fur and seemed to be missing the thumb, although noted that the bone was still present. The friends then remembered that they had a piece of black tarpaulin in their truck, and so they grabbed it and placed the arm on it, noting that it was very hairy and that they could even see tendons. The current whereabouts of the arm is unknown, Although the uploader did answer some questions that people had, including the size and weight of it, again saying that it was much larger than a human's arm. Although this story sounds incredible, it's important to note that various people throughout the years have tried to fake evidence. One of the issues that skeptics point out is that it's easy to fake evidence, saying that in this day and age, there's money involved in faking this type of evidence. Molds can be purchased online, which can be used to create tracks. As of right now, until the arm has been tested, it's hard to say for certain what it is. Many will say that the earliest report of mysterious humanoids dates back to 1811, when British explorer and trader David Thompson discovered large footprints while exploring what is now Jasper National Park in Alberta, Canada. However, it wasn't until the 1950s that the creature entered the mainstream media. Interestingly, the Native Americans, along with the Aboriginal Australians, have both detailed this humanoid creature, and this has caused amateur researchers to say that these are the earliest reports. As of right now, the large hairy humanoid said to be living throughout Australia is not officially recognised by science, but the original inhabitants of Australia have said that it lives in the Australian wilderness. It's described as a large, bipedal hominid, similar to the creatures encountered across North America. According to the Aboriginal legends, the creature has been part of their culture and beliefs for thousands of years. It's known by many different names among the various indigenous groups across Australia. It's often described as a powerful, intelligent and elusive creature that avoids human contact, but sometimes interferes with their daily activities, such as hunting. Many Aboriginal accounts of the creature describe it as a spiritual being, a protector of the land, and a messenger between the physical and spiritual worlds. Some believe that it has the ability to shapeshift and that it can take on different forms depending on the situation. In recent times, there have been many reported sightings of this humanoid creature across Australia, particularly in the dense forests and mountainous regions. The Ohio grassman is believed to be a humanoid creature that's commonly sighted across the state of Ohio. Unlike typical sightings, the Ohio grassman appears to have glowing red or orange eyes that are believed to illuminate on their own, rather than being reflections of the light. Witness descriptions claim the creature to stand around 6 to 7 feet in height and weigh an estimated 300 pounds. The creature's physical description is commonly compared to being an ape-like creature, though typically seen standing on 2 legs, unlike the average ape or monkey species. Ancient Ohio Native American legends of wild men. According to Native American literature from Ohio, the tribes native to the state claimed to have encountered a race of humans that were similar in description to apes. Although the legends are of an unknown age, the last known encounter with one of these ape-like humanoid creatures supposedly took place sometime during the early 1700s. According to the Iroquois tribe, they were terrified of their large size and appearance, with the tribal members holding rituals in which they would leave food out in areas believed to have belonged to the ape-like humans, referred to as the wild ones of the woods, in order to help maintain peace. The 1800s travelling merchant encounter. Several legends recorded during the late 1800s claim that large, hairy creatures were often seen roaming along the banks of the Ohio River. In one story, a merchant had claimed that as he was riding in his carriage alongside the Ohio River, one of the creatures had ran against the cart and attacked it. However, before the creature could completely pull the merchant out of the carriage, the daughter of the merchant had scared the beast away after throwing several stones at it. The original Ohio grassman sighting. The first recorded sighting of the Ohio grassman is believed to have been reported outside the small town of Minerva, Ohio, back during the summer of 1978. According to the official report, a married couple by the name of Evelyn and Hal Clayton claimed that while they had been tasked with babysitting their grandchildren, they encountered an ape-like humanoid creature described as standing at around 6 feet in height, weighing an estimated 300 pounds and covered from head to toe in dark matted fur. At the time of the sighting, the grandparents were unaware of legends surrounding claims of the creature, and so believed that it was far more supernatural in its appearance. According to Evelyn and Hal Clayton, the elderly couple had let their grandchildren play outside in the front yard of their home, when suddenly the group of kids ran into the house screaming and crying. Unsure of what was happening, the grandparents consoled the kids and asked them why they were upset. From what could be gathered, The grandparents claimed that the children and their friends had been playing together near a gravel pit outside when they saw a large hairy animal slowly coming towards them. At first, the creature appeared to be standing at a distance, watching the children from afar, but slowly travelled closer and closer to the group, before standing on its hind legs and walking over to the kids in long strides. Terrified of the creature, the children ran inside. At first, the grandparents had assumed that the children and their friends had encountered a native bear species, as bears are known for keeping their distance while stalking prey, only to come in for an attack when they feel adequately capable or when natural food sources dwindle. This would cause the elderly couple to grab a few firearms and exit their house to go investigate the claims of the monster near the gravel pit. Once Evelyn and Hal Clayton reached the area of the gravel pit, they would quickly realize that the unknown creature was definitely not a bear. The Claytons would describe the creature as being a large ape man, seemingly rolling around and playing in the gravel pit where the children had been. At first, the creature had not noticed the Claytons until Evelyn had made a terrified shriek, which caused the monster to suddenly stand on its two legs and turn to the couple. It would be at this moment that the elderly couple would claim to have seen the creature with a nearly perfect view, describing the monster as standing at an estimated 6 feet in height, weighing somewhere around 300 pounds and completely covered from head to toe in a hard matted fur. Before the creature could react any further, the couple would run back into the house and barricade the building, telling the children to stay together, though the monster had failed to follow the couple and appeared to disappear shortly after. This initial encounter would not be the final sighting that the elderly couple would claim to experience, as the bizarre ape-like monster was consistently spotted throughout the surrounding area over the course of several years. During another reported encounter, the Claytons would describe seeing the creature peering into their home through a closed glass window while they had been preparing to go to bed. According to Evelyn Clayton, she spotted the creature pressed up against the window, which then caused her to let out a loud scream. At this point, Hal Clayton also spotted the creature and immediately went to grab something to defend himself with. However, by the time Hal returned to the window, the creature had already disappeared into the nearby woodlands. Worried that the unknown creature would return to their home, the Claytons would call the local Minerva Police Department shortly after their sighting and file an official police report on the matter. Although the local law enforcement were unable to corroborate any sightings of the creature upon closer examination of the area outside their window, the police would claim to observe several large footprints in the mud that appeared to support their claim of a large animal somewhere in the region. The police report would also make mention of a terrible lingering smell that was described as smelling similar to rotten eggs. At another time, the Claytons would claim to see the same unexplainable creature standing near a hilltop, several hundred yards from where they had been going for a stroll. Several days later, the elderly couple would go investigate the hilltop and discover that the area had once been a strip mine and most likely went through the hill for several tens of thousands of square feet. Believing that the hill could have been an entrance into a deep cavern that housed the creature, the Claytons would quietly observe the hill from a remote location for several weeks. According to the elderly couple, roughly after a month of observing the hilltop strip mine, they would spot two hairy ape-like creatures walking around the hilltop and seemingly disappearing into the strip mine entrance. It was at this point that the Claytons believed that the creatures must have been living inside the strip mine and that there could have been a whole family of the monsters. The Claytons also believed that the many reported disappearing dogs were evidence of the creatures invading the nearby area. Several weeks prior to their grandchildren spotting the monster in the gravel pit, the Claytons had discovered their German Shepherd with its neck broken, laid inside the gravel pit, and believed that the mysterious creatures were the ones responsible. Some have made the connection between this creature and the Honey Island swamp monster. The Honey Island swamp monster is typically described by eyewitnesses as standing at a height of roughly 7.5 feet and weighing more than 500 pounds. The creature is reported as being covered in a thick coat of matted brown or grey hair that covers the creature from head to toe. In some isolated sightings, the fur of the creature was also wrapped in a large mound of pondweed. The eyes of the creature are often described as being yellow in colour. One of the more noticeable traits of the creature is that of its odour, which has been referred to by eyewitnesses as being repulsive. The creature has also been reported under several different names, such as the Honey Island ape, the Honey Island creature, the Louisiana Wookiee, and the swamp monster of Louisiana. As of right now, many researchers who've looked into these cases have said that each of these creatures have a similar design, and this has caused some to suggest that there's different variations of these humanoids. Although these sightings seem like a modern-day phenomena, encounters go back to the original inhabitants, and we even have cave paintings that depict large humanoids. It's for this reason that researchers believe that a small population of these creatures exist in hard-to-reach regions, noting that the trees and dense forests allow for the perfect cover. Right now, scientists have said that further evidence is needed in order to prove that they are genuine, but with the advancements of drone technology and infrared cameras, some have said that it's only a matter of time before we capture evidence that can no longer be ignored. A man named Luis Fr. reportedly captured a video showing a large humanoid figure walking on a mountain in Mexico back in 2003. While this footage has been circulating for some time, it has recently gained renewed attention as discussions about large humanoids have resurfaced online. It is worth noting, however, that sightings of colossal beings on mountains have been documented before through various means, and this particular encounter adds to the collection of alleged evidence depicting giants in such environments. When the video footage was shared, individuals began expressing their opinions on its content. Many pointed out that there is a noticeable presence at the mountain's summit, which, at certain points in the video, resembles a human figure. Interestingly, this shape remains relatively stationary throughout the duration of the footage, leading some to suggest that the object is actually a balloon. Additionally, local residents have witnessed peculiar creatures throughout the area, which has further fueled speculations. Some residents have reported observing large, hairy humanoids that bear a striking resemblance to the figure in the video. Numerous individuals residing in close proximity to the area have come forward, sharing their encounters and describing the creature as towering over 8 feet in height and possessing incredible speed and agility. There is a popular tale circulating among knowledgeable hikers in the area, suggesting that they have come across these beings near the mountains. This has sparked speculation that there might be a hidden civilization residing in close proximity to these regions. Several hikers have reported experiencing hallucinations while dehydrated or feeling fearful for their lives during mountain treks. These incidents have resulted in them witnessing the presence of a sizable creature roaming the area. One legend goes that in the heart of Spain, where the Sierra Nevada mountains cast long shadows over the sun-drenched valleys below, an age-old tale continues to echo through the villages. This tale tells of the giants who live within the mountain caverns, staying clear of the human eye, but very much a part of the region's lore. Centuries ago, these mountains were uncharted territories, inspiring awe and fear among those who dared to venture into their rugged slopes. Among these brave souls were the ancestors of the villagers, who had noticed strange phenomena in the mountains. The inexplicable rumbling beneath their feet, the peculiarly shaped entities that seemed to move in the corner of their eye, and the echo of a deep, resonating hum filling the valleys at dawn and dusk. One chilly autumn evening, a shepherd named Thomas ventured deep into the mountains, drawn by the mysterious humming sound. As he moved closer, he felt the ground tremble beneath his feet. Suddenly, a massive boulder moved aside, and from the darkness emerged a colossal figure. Filled with fear and fascination, Thomas watched as the figure, a giant, stretched out its limbs and walked off into the mountains, causing the ground to shake with each footstep. Word spread throughout the villages about Thomas's encounter, sparking a sense of awe and trepidation among the inhabitants. As time passed, these stories morphed into legends, shaping the villagers' respect and reverence for the mountains. They believed that these giants were the guardians of the Sierra Nevada, protectors of the mountain's natural beauty and resources. Over generations, the inhabitants stopped venturing into the mountains. During the harvest season, they would leave portions of their crops near the mountain caves as offerings. On New Year's Eve, they would light bonfires, a symbolic gesture representing the giants' warmth and protection over the past year. In time, these tales of the Spanish giants faded into myth, regarded by outsiders as mere folklore. Yet, For the inhabitants of the Sierra Nevada villages, the giants were very much a reality. The mountains were their home, and these gentle behemoths were their neighbors, a constant presence that shaped their lives and culture. The villagers lived in harmony with these mythical beings, their existence intertwined with the rhythms of nature and the cycles of the seasons. The mountains echoed with their stories, resonating with the deep hum of the giants, a reminder of the mystical bond between humanity and the natural world. In the end, whether these giants truly exist remains a mystery. What is certain, however, is that their legend has etched an indelible mark on the cultural fabric of the Sierra Nevada region. In the hearts of the villagers, these gentle behemoths remain as the guardians of the mountains, a testament to their reverence for the power and mystery of nature. Thus, the tale of the Spanish mountain giants continues to echo through the Sierra Nevada, a tale of mystery, respect, and coexistence that binds the people to their awe-inspiring landscape. And perhaps, in the tranquil hours of dawn and dusk, if one listens closely, they might still hear the deep, resonating hum of the giants, a melody of an ancient time, a song of the mountains. With reports of these humanoids surfacing from all around the world, it's no surprise to amateur researchers that the mountains of our world may be home to giant ape-like creatures. Those who have allegedly encountered these creatures have said that they dwell within the distant mountainsides and wilderness, uninhabited by humans. One such creature that closely resembles the humanoid that was captured by Luis Fr. is known as the almas, and these Mongolian hominids were believed to have inhabited the mountains across Central Asia, as well as the Altai Mountains of Western Mongolia, of which the majority of ancient reports were made. The oldest known verifiable record made of the almas was written by a man known as Hans Schiltberger, a prisoner of the Mongol Khan that had been sent to Mongolia and wrote about his observations of the surrounding landscape and people back during the year 1420. In his journal, he wrote the following excerpt surrounding the almas creatures. On the same mountain, there are savages, who are not like other people. They are covered all over the body with hair, except the hands and face, and run about like other wild beasts in the mountain, and also eat leaves and grass and anything that they can find." End quote. There have been endless debates, both archaeological and scientific, surrounding the existence of these creatures, as more and more people have come forward with their stories.